Disclaimer. This podcast showcases business partners and friends that engage in lively conversations about books over many drinks. Content may not be suitable for viewers under 21.
I wonder if it's going to be worse now.
I think this is going to make me look more drunk.
I can't see that as well as the pretty colorful one.
I think I might be more blind than you, Kristen. I think
See the numbers?
Not as well. I liked the other one.
I don't have my glasses
Yes,
on,
and then full screen.
I really think this is going to make me look more drunk on camera.
It's all good. Hi guys! Welcome to another episode of
Books and Booze!
I am Kristen.
And I'm Leilani.
And we created this podcast for you to bring you on a journey with us of literature and libations. Oh, cheers to that. Absolutely. Take a sip. Come on. Got to cheers and then take a sip. So
good.
We'll get into that. But to hopefully inspire you that business really can be fun. And here we are talking business and enjoying it, right?
Because business is boozy.
It is. So grab a look.
I can't see, guys. This is really getting me off guard here.
So our amazing editing team and film team suggested we try going without our glasses, which I do usually, which you can see me when I got to look at the timer. I squint. But this is Leilani's first time.
It is. I usually have contacts, but this time I said, no, let me wing it and say, let me just go.
We're just going natural.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm more drunk.
What happens when we pregame and talk about the book, right? But anyways, grab a good book.
Get some great booze.
And grab an incredible buddy to share it with. Here we go. Cheers. So, this greenhouse gin.
So good. So good. It is like Jolly Ranchers liquid. Yep. Liquid Jolly Ranchers is so good.
But today, I did something I did a few months ago for you when we were just hanging out. I took basically like a gelato. I had a raspberry or blackberry, a berry gelato, and I scooped it and I added my basil is like overtaking. You saw it.
It looks like a hedge. I was like, that's basil? Sucker's like 4 foot tall.
I'm like asking her to take like the top half of it, please. But anyways, so basil is abundant in my backyard. Blackberries and the berries here in Florida have been abundant. But it was fun to take the gelato and the gin and a few berries and herbs and shake it together and then top it off because we got to make it through this 40 minutes.
We're going to make it through, guys. Because I got a sidecar.
But maybe this isn't a sidecar.
It's a dump truck.
A side truck.
Side truck.
Dump truck. I like that. Dump truck. Okay. Can I have a dump truck with that? It's a new bar term, I'm sure. Bars everywhere are scrambling now. Get a dump truck ready. But anyways, yes. This gin has been so enjoyable to just sip and enjoy, and it has been amazing with all of the spring flavors, right?
Oh, really good.
Jeez.
Really, really good. I know my husband and I were just talking about it. We're normally bourbon drinkers, but man, this gin is converting us. It's so good.
Well, I think in the spring too, gin is just, it's herbaceous, it's beautiful. It feels fresh.
Yeah.
Right? And then their website, it makes me want to go to a speakeasy or something.
So pretty. Look at the bottle. The bottle is just so gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Good job, guys.
Absolutely. And then this book.
Good job, Mike.
The Pumpkin Plan.
Yeah.
This has been fun. We really dug into the last few weeks of working the plan, where we first really need to align with what our vision is, our why.
Yep. Common thread.
Common thread in every single book we've read.
Yep.
And it's a common thread in our, boot camp as well for Saige consultants. We are starting up a business, or we're reviving your existing business, or you have an enterprise, a corporation, and you got to get back to basics. You got to start with your why.
Yeah. I actually didn't hear about starting with why until we had already been in business for 6 or 7 years, and then we were introduced to Simon Sinek's Start With Why, which a lot of the books have that common thread, that common core teaching in there. And that's really when we started taking that concept into our business and growing it from the seed, the why, the seed of the why.
Yep. And throughout the that's what happens when we pregame.
I should pregame. And I can't see. I'm trying. I think I'm looking at the camera, but I'm guessing at this point.
Don't worry. I mean, we got 2 this time. I don't even know where to look. I keep bouncing back and forth. I feel like I'm watching a tennis match. But anyways,
I feel good.
Goodness, I
don't think we're gonna make it through. We got 40 minutes of just you guys are just gonna watch us drink for 40 minutes.
So his various plans that he's taken us through is knowing your why, and really aligning with that, and then aligning with who your top clients are, and cutting off kind of the dead weight, the bad part of the vine and things like that.
Dying leaves. Yeah.
And there's different ways to doing that. You doesn't need to be so harsh as, I'm sorry, I'm not going to serve you anymore as a customer. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Bye. No, he throws up his boundaries and then...
Right? Or you change something about what services. I mean, we read about these different industries that, he takes us through, and sometimes it's about changing pricing, it's changing about what you offer, and it caters to your ideal client, and those who aren't your ideal client will find their ideal home. They will. Absolutely.
You'll find your tribe. It might not be this one, but you'll find one.
And we also addressed how I was ready to fight about this book, because coming from corporate, I was like, customer first thinking. But I had to step back and realize the corporations I had worked through had really already gone through this. They were not trying to appease every single customer in the whole wide world. They figured out who their customer was, and that's who their branding went after. That's who their offerings went after, and everything like that. And if we could include more into that, that was nice, but we really targeted a specific group to come in. And that isn't to say that these companies are not inclusive. Right? That's this line.
It does.
And it's hard. So I've worked in the fashion industry, and I love this, actually. I've been in the fashion industry for, better part of 30 years. And thanks to a little bit of textile and understanding, the amount of times I hear people saying, oh, your business isn't for my size. That's painful to hear, right? Because you want everybody, no matter what size they are, to feel and realize how beautiful they are.
Yes.
But when you build a pattern for mass production, there is certain guidelines that work within a mass-produced production line that fit within a wide demographic of body types. And then when you breach that, so for example, and I hate to use this, but for example, when you have that 0 to size 20, it's one pattern size typically. And then when you hit size 20 and beyond, it's another pattern size so that it's built right for you, because it's not necessarily that you need something bigger all around. You want maybe cup depth within, for a woman here, right? You don't necessarily need it longer. It's not that you just add 2 inches everywhere. That's wrong. So when you understand patterns and how they're built and wanting to reproduce those. So, while it's painful to get somebody into a business and they love what they see on your shelves and they're like, oh, this doesn't fit me. That hurts, because you realize there's beauty in every single person. There is a technicality in mass producing things. Right now, could these private ateliers, right, who will custom make you something, no problem. But when you're going into a store and wanting to find something for 10 to 20 bucks,
Yeah.
it's mass produced somewhere within a pattern size that fits a bulk size range. And yeah, that's just really, it's just a rant that I have, and I'm so sorry.
No, I was in awe. I was staring right along. I loved it. But it is coming from an operational standpoint, it does make sense because at this point you're trying to optimize your productivity. So if you already have a design out and you've got a pattern for it, you're looking for the easiest way to size up without having to redesign the pattern completely.
Correct. Because that's
To
a
service-
whole nother build.
And to service a clientele that might not be the majority of the demographic of people you service. So I understand that part.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
It doesn't mean it hurts any less when you have to be the one that caters that
On the
message.
other end.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is why I appreciate so many brands that are attempting, you know, an acceptance and different things. Like the beauty industry with makeups and perfumes, it fits every size. But clothing, I think, is where it's can
You
be
know,
the
it's
most
funny you
fickle.
say that because I'm starting to see where makeup lines are really starting to hone in, or even just fashion in general. Okay, let's just talk beauty and fashion. They're really honing in not only in size but age, right?
Absolutely.
So, you know, we're in our 40s, and at this point, our skin type is a lot different than someone who's in their 20s and 30s. So the makeup we target is going to be made and formulated for women of our age and not for someone in their 20s. Well, same thing for body types. You know, as we age, our body and the way it's built is going to be a lot different than, say, that of a young 20 or 30-year-old. So the brands we are typically
Feeling best in.
yeah, I like that, are going to be ones that have marketed and decided that their core customer and their perfect customer, right? We talk about clients, are going to be women in their 40s and 50s with this type of body style. So it's not to take offense if that particular brand does not match what you're looking for. It's at that point that customer needs to go in and say, okay, well, let me go find the brand that does.
Yep.
And they are out there.
They sure are. Absolutely. And this is where Mike digs into. Once you really hone in on your area of innovation,
Yes.
you hone in on your top client, then this is where, and here's one of his few lists. It's okay, all right, we came from Patrick that had lists on every page, and Mike only has like 6 lists in this book total. It's okay.
Yeah, but he does good though.
They're great lists. Yeah, they're very
condense
concise.
them down. Yeah.
But when you really bring it in on really who your client is, what it is you're offering them, it does 5 things for you, he says. 1, it helps you continue to foster innovation and the product development, which is so true. When you can say, here is who I am truly trying to service, you can innovate around that and make it even better, more efficient, or more cost effective, or more luxurious, or more whatever it is, right? We talked about the 3 areas of really catering to our customers. And then in the end, it can really save you money. And I like when we dig into this with our next, individual who launched a business, but saves you money. It also helps shape your brand. And I think this is what I was saying is the corporations I worked for had decided who their core customer is, therefore that's who their marketing upheld.
Yep.
The music they played in the store, everything like that attracted that. And what
core
ended up
customer.
happening is what he says is step number 4, it inspires loyalty. You get this really strong customer base of people who just want to be part of what it is that you offer.
Yeah.
From point A to point beyond Z, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And being in fashion, it's been neat to watch people originally shop with me when they were first getting either married or graduated, and then they've had kids, and their kids are old enough then, you can come in and shop because maybe they've graduated on, they picked a different brand identity, but they still liked how the product made them feel, so they brought in their nieces or their children and stuff like that.
That's so cool.
All right. So inspires loyalty, and then the 5th is that it motivates unsolicited promotion. Because you have your clients who really identify to your brand, and then they feel so good about it that they tell their friends.
Word of mouth is the best advertisement.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it really
absolutely.
is.
And
Yeah.
I remember before I made the decision to launch Saige Consultants, I was just on a mental journey to get better myself. And when I realized that, I was listening, I want to say Brian Tracy, and he was even recapping somebody that had inspired him from so long ago, that the goal is to have a business that is so incredible that your customers come back, and they come back again, and then they come back with their friends, and they insist that their friends do business with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you know you've nailed it.
Yeah.
Or when your clients are like, you know what, I like the way I'm treated. Let me tell you about my friend who has this.
Yeah.
And this is where he gets into a few examples of different ways to really grow your business, I guess through really organic, like a true loyal customer base. So he talks first about the concept of threadless. I don't know that they're around anymore because, you know, Ethan loves to design his own clothes and he's been designing stuff. And when I read this book, I was like, Ethan, look up threadless. And he's like, there's no website for that. So I don't know what's happening with that.
And that's one thing about reading, you know, some of these books that were written and authored a while ago. Yeah. Some of their case studies are aged, but that is the season of business, like we talked about, right?
Absolutely. And even more reason to stick to the pumpkin plan and read all the other books we talked about and call Saige Consultants if you need help. Yamame. But threadless was apparently, I guess, a concept where the people who were part of this club would design basically something, and because of their following of friends, they were like, look what I designed. Like it would sell out quickly. But what he went on to talk about was a guy named Paul of Hedgehog Leatherworks. And I, again, think about you guys.
We're Rivets and Burrs.
And Burrs, yes. Where he was making, his business was so specific. He made custom sheaths for specific tactical knives. So his following, his niche, his area of innovation was so fine-tuned that he had this group of people that he could ask his top clients, what knife should I make a sheath for next? And once he got X amount of votes, he would be like, okay, you all said I should make a sheath for this knife. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to go source the leather from here. And he would record his process. And then he gave access to his top clients first. Even though they didn't necessarily know they were the top clients, but he knew who to reach out to and say, hey, I have an early sale on this. Do you
design
want to pre-order
this new item? Do you guys take a look at it? Do you think you want it and pre-order it? And
absolutely. So one, he got pre-orders. Secondly, he, because of his customer base, he knew within, I feel like Mike said, like 4 or 5 units of how many he needed to produce.
You start knowing your numbers. Right? You start knowing your numbers.
Holy, could you imagine? Like on a grand scale, buying to a point that you know what will sell out at original price within a certain arc. That's the years I spent in retail and the amount of things that went to clearance, end of year sale.
I have those too. I actually just had a meeting today. I was like, I need to find some more places to clear some stuff out. Actually, you know, my husband was telling me, you know, Jason Momoa.
I don't know him, but if you do, I mean, he could be a great guest, I'm sure.
He would be. Jason Galame. But no, so my husband was telling me that he actually buys his jeans from this one guy who makes custom jeans, but that's it, like the sheath guy.
Right.
His jeans are specific type of design and pattern. And he makes it, but he has not publicized, but recorded himself making the jeans.
Wow, that's amazing.
And putting it out there so people can see him making it. And Jason Momoa found him, and that is the only guy who makes his jeans now because he makes it in style and everything that he wants. And
that's so cool.
But his entire business now, like you said, he'll come out with a pattern, call up certain people, and it's a matter of, hey, this is a new design. Do you like it? Yes. Okay. He already knows how many he has to make.
You know what's so funny? Just knowing the history of fashion. I don't want this to turn into a fashion podcast. Sorry about that, guys. But the history of fashion, originally it started out, they would come up with an idea, and then everything was custom made. You know, so you didn't have this surplus of goods necessarily. It wasn't
made on demand.
Yes, absolutely. And it wasn't until we, wanted this ready to wear, pret-a-porter, and affordable.
Well, we got impatient and we
got
wanted
impatient.
it yesterday.
Same with our food.
Yeah.
Same with everything in life.
Yeah, but that's why there's a lot of waste. Yeah.
So, Mike talks about, what happens when you follow that kind of concept where you really get to a point where you can reach out to your top clients and say, all right, what do we need next? You know, like this Paul guy, right? And then you create it and then you release it first to your best clients, and then you make a limited amount and it's a limited availability. Like, it's so much cleaner. It allows you, here's another list, he says. When you do build up your business like that and you have your really true core customers and you get their feedback, it allows you to predict really well.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the forecasting becomes a lot easier when you already know exactly what your customers, they're telling you.
They're telling
giving
you
the
what
data.
they want.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that makes them more likely to want to buy. And then if they're part of the feedback for creating what it is that you're offering, they can be like, hey, I look at what I told them to do and they did it. Right? Absolutely. So when you take time to get to know your clients, really identify your top clients and ask them for feedback, there's several things that happens that Mike goes into. Another list. He always saves his list for the end. It's building up the exciting clients here, right? And this one's huge, right? Being able to predict what your customers want, which I think you said it best. Forecasting, and they're telling you what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best way.
Yes, when your best customers say, this is what I need from your industry, this is what I need for my life to make my life easier.
Yeah.
Your business has a shoe-in, basically.
Yeah. And the thing is, so your best customers, I want to reiterate that one. It's not any customer. It's your best customer. You've isolated who your best customer is, because if you start listening to any customer, now you're sitting there.
Now you'll go broad again.
Yeah, you're going broad and you're spreading yourself thin again. Yeah, so best customer.
Your best customer. And then what allows you to do is really appreciate those top customers. Because if you give them early access, or they feel like they're part of the decision for what you evolved in your business, that makes them feel really valued.
Yeah, it does, because you're looking for their advice. And the thing is, us humans, we love to help, right? No one likes to admit it, but we all love helping. And even more when they search for that help from you specifically, right? You're not just giving your advice just because. They're actually looking for it, and that makes you feel all nice and warm and tingly.
And fuzzy and happy and accomplished. Absolutely. And then it gives you a platform to announce what it is that you're doing, because everybody's already paying attention. And it's huge, right? Like, we want to invest all this in marketing, but when you have a client base who has told you what they want, you're making it, right? When you can announce, okay, it's going to be ready on this date, they're already waiting for it.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. And then throughout the process of preparing it, be vulnerable. Hey, then that's what he was saying Paul does, right? He would make it and struggle with something and try it again. But there's something now, and I really appreciate this about, and a lot of brands are doing this, where things aren't being retouched and fixed. People are being really authentic.
Yeah, and with AI now, I feel like
that's a whole
you start second guessing everything. Like, when I see someone who looks like hell, right? And they've got like wrinkles on their face, they've got gray hair, and they've got dark circles around your eyes. I'm like, man, that witch is being real, and I actually appreciate it so much more, because in this day and age, it's so easy to be fake.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what I said. Like, more than ever, authenticity is such an important dynamic to have as part of your business.
So the struggles going into that.
Engage with them, keep them part of the process.
Yeah.
And if there's a challenge with it, not great, but okay, roll with it, because it's not a setback. It's a chance to learn.
It's an experience. It's a lesson. And actually, going on this endeavor that we did here with Books and Booze, one of the biggest struggles I had was being on camera. And so this is me, this is real us.
Just keep giving her this, and she gets better. No, just kidding.
I get sloppier.
No,
She gets sloppier.
You don't. Amazing.
But the real side of us comes out, and I that was one of the things I had to really get over, was that struggle of how was I going to be portrayed online. But when I started finding out and realizing in myself, I have real struggles as a business owner. Kristen has struggles as a business owner. But as long as we're being authentic with you, our audience, you guys can commiserate.
Yes.
Like, that's better.
Commiserate.
Not
No. Both words are
both? Okay. Commiserate has like a negative connotation.
Not
So
at
let's
all.
go with connect. You guys can connect with us. And yes, authenticity is one of the biggest things that in business right now. So if you are announcing anything, you have a product launch that's going on, or you are just sitting there in your living room thinking, hey, man, I don't know. I don't want people to see me like this right now because I'm not feeling so good. Do it anyways.
Do it anyways.
Because
Absolutely.
you don't know who you're going to connect with and who you're going to help through that connection.
Yes, and I think the business advice we hear over and over, and we even try to give, is don't wait until you think you're big enough to try to present yourself. Just start.
Yeah, because even the ones that are big, they're really small.
Right.
I mean,
and there's probably an element of, I don't want to say not fake, but they've padded what is seen, right?
well, it's like
okay.
their PR guy came in and said, "Hey, we only want to show you one side of us. We don't want to show you the other." And the part is the people who in my experience, I can't speak for everyone, but I really grow from people who are authentically telling their story. The ones that are showing their struggles, because at one point in time, I might relate to those struggles, and seeing how they got over those struggles gives me hope, right? And that's really what we're trying to tell here is have hope. And if all you're doing is showing the good side of yourself, like a lot of these big companies are, they're only showing you what they want you to see, which is the big,
shiny end product.
yeah, I'm not growing from that. I can't relate to you, and I can't, you're not helping me.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So he talks about that engaged piece, and then he talks about the fact that once you there's 8 steps in this, and we keep branching off from it. So come
sorry.
back. No, don't apologize. Just we're bringing them back into the trunk of the tree here, I guess, is the way to look at it. So we've engaged with them, keep them invested in the process. But as you are listening to your customers, delivering what they're asking for, taking them along the journey with you, getting their feedback, there's a part 2 where, depending on what it is that you're building with your business, you could ask for those that are interested in what you're building to prepay. So if what it is that so again, we go back to, if you have a business idea but you don't have money to start it up, that's not a problem,
Yeah.
right? You can still start a business without anything in your bank account.
Yeah, you can.
A little bit here and there for legal documents and filings and all that.
Yeah, but you're not
But you don't
needing
need
the
$100,000.
Yeah,
You don't need $1 million necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending on what you're launching. And even if that is your ultimate goal, maybe you start smaller.
Yeah.
Launch from your books and booze table.
Garage.
From the garage. Yes. From the
Dining
kitchen
room
table.
table,
Yes, absolutely. So depending on what you're building, you can ask for that small investment to, hey, I am building this, see what I'm doing. Do you want first access to it? I'm taking prepayments now for this special pricing, basically. And then he goes back to an earlier mantra that he talks about, over-deliver.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Under-deliver.
no. Under-promise.
Under-promise.
Over-deliver.
Yes, over-deliver. Yeah.
And then the really important step 8, keep track of what worked, because everything about a successful business is to read results and pivot.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the Friends episode. Pivot. Couch.
Yeah.
But anyways, you got to be able to respond quickly, right?
Yeah.
And assess from there. So in his work the plan, at this point, we're wrapping up the book, and he talks about how important it is that you have got to do all of his work, the plans, and all of these steps in order.
Yes.
You can't jump ahead to the last one. You can't skip the first.
Yeah.
Right. So every single work the plan, from revisiting your whole purpose, to acknowledging your top clients, cutting away your.
I agree. I think most of us will sit there and think, oh, I've got that. I'll just skip that part and move on to this. And, oh, I'll skip that. I don't need that. Let me go get this. Guys, no, forget about it. Go from A to Z, okay? Don't start jumping around.
Take all the steps.
Nitpicking what you think you need. Just go through all the steps. What is it going to take you? A couple more hours to do it. Just go with the flow.
I like that you said that because he brings up the point that, you talk about taking time to do something for your business. And maybe it's training somebody to do something for you so you can do something else for your business. Or maybe it's taking time to do this. And he says, what is truly 10 to 30 hours a week, or in the end, 10 to 30 hours total to do something thoroughly versus having to repeat what you're doing over and over and over. He says something like there's something that you have to do that costs you 10 hours, and you're like, oh, but it'll take me longer to teach someone to do it. Within 3 weeks, you will have begun to lost time.
Yeah, I've done that.
And I think the ultimate goal, what is you want your business to do? If your business is going to provide you a lifestyle where you have time with your family and friends and you have time to travel and you can provide better for your loved ones. If that's your ultimate goal of starting a business, then you need to truly grow your business. Now, if you just want to be able to pay your bills from your business, basically like almost a side hustle, okay.
Yeah, and even then, I challenge even then because you're limited. If you're doing everything and you're not able to teach anyone to do it for you, then you are only limited to the 24 hours that are in a day for you to accomplish that. And the thing is, guys, goals are funny. You set one goal, you accomplish it, you only want another one. And that goal is not parallel to the one you had before, it's always bigger.
Absolutely.
So you'll never be satisfied, and but you'll never be satisfied or limited to your goals, but the hours in your day are. So you need to train someone to learn how to do what you're doing in order for you to go on to the next goal. So yes, I've been there, I've done that. Or I thought it'd be easier, I already know what to do, it'll be faster if I just do it. In that time frame, 3 to 6 months, yes, it will be faster for me to do it. But in the end, it saves me so much more time having someone else do it.
Absolutely. And I think that's where we then tie in really closely, honestly, with eMyth.
Yeah.
And creating that turnkey business conceptually, and how important it is to have your systems in place that are teachable. And he even talks about, how do I take a system that I created and make it teachable? He goes, write it down. He goes, now simplify it.
Yeah.
And then he says, simplify it again.
And I challenge you. This book was written, was it 2012, I think, 2013. So this is before AI. Guys, use AI. Record yourself. There's tools out there right now. Screen record whatever it is that you guys are doing. I mean, even if you have a GoPro, get a GoPro. If you're hands-on, you just record yourself with a GoPro. If you're on the computer, screen record whatever you're doing on the computer. And then you can get AI to sit there and pull out the most important parts of it. And then you can even go to Upwork to make SOPs. There's ways of taking technology and making it useful for you so you can teach someone else to repeat the same exact thing you just recorded yourself doing.
Yep, absolutely. And when we do that, then we begin to build a true business versus a hobby.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to be teachable. He compares it to those airline cards that you get when you, like, for safety, right? When you sit on an airplane and you pull out the safety cards, there's all these pictures for step by step. If the thing's drop, well, you put yours on first, and then you help the person next to you. Right? Like, it's that simple. That's what he talks about, making something reproducible for somebody else. And let's be really honest. Other than the how you do what you do, meaning your pizzazz, your panache, your personality, the task that you do is 100% reproducible.
Yeah.
It's 100% reproducible. Now, your personality and influence in it, that is something special to you. But when you go back to the beginning of Pumpkin Plan and you start with your why and you start with your whole reason, why are you doing this for your customer? What do you want that relationship for your top clients to? Do you see how his whole thing is working together, that you can create a repeatable plan?
Yeah. I agree. 100%. I love it. It's really good.
So we skipped over several business industries that he gives examples of. We skipped over the nursing home, an attorney office, a restaurant. But they're really, I think, between the solar company, the I can't even.
We had the
talked about
solar, we had
jewelry,
the programming
Yeah.
dude, the airline.
everything.
There
We
was so
hit
many.
on practically every spectrum of small business.
Yeah.
And he found a way to apply the pumpkin plan, reach out to your top clients, find what it is missing in your industry, cater to that, get in on your area of innovation,
Yeah.
fine tune your niche, and explode your business by being the most amazing business for a very small group of people.
Yeah, no, he did really good. And again, if you can, I know he changed his business model a little bit, but he does have an Excel sheet that will help you narrow down your top client, and I think that will be beneficial. It doesn't matter what your industry is, right? So your top client, supplier, vendor, whatever it is, narrowing that down and focusing on them is going to be really huge for your industry. And then I really like in the beginning of the book, if you do not have a top client, supplier, vendor, what is your top
Ideal client.
Yeah, your ideal
Who
client.
are they?
Yeah.
I mean, we told you in the last episode, we named our ideal customers. We gave her a name, we gave her an age, we
A
gave
persona.
her
Yeah.
we gave her a whole persona. We even decided where she wanted to travel on vacation, what she liked to drink, what music she liked to listen
Yeah.
to. We knew who Bella and Michelle and Kathleen and
Yeah.
going on through, right? We knew who you are in efforts to try to reach you. So as you're building your business from scratch, who is your ideal dream customer who's going to call you up and say, I want to do business with you?
Exactly.
Who are they?
And that's going to help you isolate who you want to go after. And if you're already in business, knowing that you'll be able to align, is the current clientele you have aligning with who your core, I always want to say belief, right? Because your
Totally.
customer, it has to align with your beliefs. So if you already have them, you can sit there and compare them. Did I say that right?
No, you're absolutely right.
I'm confused, guys. We got to cut this. Books and booze.
All right, y'all. This has been an amazing book, especially, honestly, any stage that you're at in business. Starting a business, like you said, identify who your core customer would be. Struggling with business, or your business running you.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Mike.
Yes.
Thank you, Greenhouse. Oh my
Greenhouse.
goodness.
Oh
We
my
are like slurring at the end of our podcast here, thanks to your delicious gin, which is pretty much empty.
We are huge fans.
Huge fans.
Huge
Can't wait to
fans.
try your pepper gin
Oh my
and your
gosh.
vodkas.
All of them.
And everybody needs to go to your website because it's so beautiful.
Oh my goodness. Everyone needs to drink your bottles because they're so good.
So y'all, we're working on building this tribe up. We want to help you. We want to help you whatever stage you're at in your growth as a business. Launching a business, growing your business. Please like, subscribe. If this was helpful, please share. Please, that's huge for us. That share button. Put it out on your Facebook. Put it out, whatever. But y'all, thank you for being part of this. This is awesome,
Having a great time.
right?
Yes.
And while you're at it, grabbing a book
Get some great booze.
and get the most amazing buddy in the whole wide world ever to share with. Bye, y'all.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.